Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you here to my presentation. It's about digital marketing. My name is Paul Clare, and I've written a title in there, Marketing That Really Works. Digital marketing has changed the landscape of marketing in recent years. It's been driven by companies like Google, and ultimately it works, therefore it's growing. And what we've found, and what statistics have shown as well, is a bit behind the curve when it comes to utilising this marketing. Therefore, giving you some information may help you utilize it better, or at least look into it a little bit further. A little bit about OptiCommerce. OptiCommerce is a company that specializes in digital marketing services and digital services in general. That starts with the foundation of having a great website, a website that can be scaled and built and grow with your business as business needs change. There was I met a company about ago in the online environment, and when we went to see them, they said 1 year the digital world is the equivalent of 10 years in a typical traditional business world. So 1 year in digital equals 10 in a normal. So for those of you that have built sites or had strategies, if a year's passed, it's equivalent 10 years. To a Google seminar about 2 years ago, and at that time they said to me, the rate of change today is the slowest it will ever be. Tomorrow it's going to be quicker, next week it's going to be even quicker. So it's speeding up. As you know, you can see technology, apps like Uber. I mean, 2-3 years ago, people weren't even using mobile phone apps too much. Now it's become a common form. So OptiCommerce wants to bring these services and websites and marketing and maybe apps in the future to the optical marketplace and make them affordable for the independent sector. We specialize in websites. That's our core product. We have brochure websites. Brochure websites are content-based websites. Some of you may have gone down the road of building these either with ourselves or on your own through normal developers. Why ours different? Well, one big factor is we provide content that goes in the websites. There was a period of time about 5-6 years ago when we were building 5 websites for customers and we were requesting content from them. 3, 4, 5, 6 months passed and we were still waiting for an About Us text. So I decided to make the conscious effort of we'll just write a whole host of information about optics, which is generalized, and then give customers, and then the customers can then personalize it for themselves. So we provide content on lenses, we provide content on eye care information. My business partner is actually an ophthalmologist. He's taken the time out to write a number of articles there. We've also provided information on common eye examinations, contact lens fittings, and it's all pre-done for you, so it saves you a lot of time in getting the site ready. And that's one of the key differences with our brochure websites. Websites are the next level up, and we talked about a scalable solution. Catalog websites are those websites where you showcase your products. As people walk into your practice, they come there for clinical services, but many of them also come in there from the fashion element and the designer aspect. And if you're looking at increasing your number of sales, frequency of sales to particular customers, fashion is the way probably to push it. Well, these people are coming in store to see these products. Why not display them online? If you are displaying them online and displaying catalogs from Gucci, Prada, whichever consumer brand it might be, that's a good thing because people online are searching on Google for the clinical services, but also for the brands. So if you have these specific products in your catalog, what happens is Google indexes pages with product codes and model numbers, and then when people are searching for them geographically local to you, your website's more likely to be found. So with a catalog website, the traffic you get far more than just a brochure website. Then obviously the next step up is e-commerce. Everyone is doing everything online, and that's not going to be different in the optical marketplace. Already, I think about 10% of sales of eyewear is through the online channel. And what we advocate is the omni-channel approach, actually, where people look at it maybe on a mobile phone, people look at it on a laptop, people look at it at work on through a social network. But all these interpoints, all these points of retail connect into the practice, and they all drive extra footfall into the practice. So e-commerce is something that will be more available. That could be from someone on whose contact lenses have run out and they want to reorder them. It's Saturday night and they want them for Monday or they want them for Tuesday. What do? Should they write a small note, make a note in their diary, Monday morning I'll call my optician, or would they prefer simply log in onto your website of the optician who knows them, who's tested them, and then log in on, the prescription's known and the order takes place, and by Monday the delivery could already happen. These are things that are becoming more advantageous to opticians. Looking at e-commerce, it's not going to go away. If it's not going to go away, the question is why wait 3-4 years, 5 years until some of the bigger people have done it and then do it? You have to consider this now. So the OptiCommerce website solution covers these basics and it's scalable. It's not like if you start with one, then you can't go to the next one. We make it very easy. It's done in a modular fashion. Once you have a great website, then you have to market that, and that's primarily why we're here today, to talk about digital marketing. What is different between digital marketing and traditional marketing? There's different forms of digital marketing. Some of the terms may not be known to you. Things like search engine optimization, social media marketing is becoming more common now. A lot more people are hearing about it. Actually, Facebook, shares are starting to do really well because now people are realizing that marketing works too. Email marketing, one of the things medical practices have in abundance is number of patients. All of you, unfortunately, have all the email addresses for all. You do have a large number. What a great way to market to those people. It's not intrusive, it's very simple, it's very easy to do, and it's very cheap to do it as well. So things like that you have to consider as your kind of primary form of marketing. And video productions, here we're creating a video, we're going to put this video on our website, we're going to utilize this. Now if you've spent lots of money making your practice look really nice, well, if a customer's online looking for an optician and they go to a website, and they go to another website, you can't really tell what the practice is like. You can get an idea, of course, but if you have a nice video made and you showcase and you talk, customers give testimonials, that can only but enhance your chances of getting that person to visit you rather than a competitor. Things you have to consider that will help you drive extra customers through your doors. In terms of a company, we are now at the point where we've got set over 200 websites practice. The 200 practices in the UK are using our software, with a mixture of brochure sites, e-commerce websites and catalogue websites. Together with the company OptiCo, who is the second largest optical software provider in the world, together with them we've created a unique which harnesses and it integrates your practice management software together with the website. So what that means is there's a number of services that can be done. One is patients want to make bookings, they want to book an appointment with you. Why is it that they have to be limited visiting your practice or making a phone call to your practice? It should be possible that when they receive their recall letter, they receive their recall text, they click on it, see the slots that are available, choose one of their liking and make a booking. Well, that is now possible. Together with OptiCo, we have done that. Patients can now book appointments directly into the diary. Actually, we've had very positive feedback too. One customer says, well, number of instances where customers have specifically chosen them because they were able to book an appointment for tomorrow. Sunday, for example, they look for an optician online, they find a practice they like, and the reason they chose them is they can actually say, tomorrow there's an appointment available and I can book it. That ends the journey. The point of, I don't have to look for anybody else. I found somebody I can go to. Save from doing it tomorrow. So the diary book integration is superb. In addition to that, people want to see what you have in store. Having your stock availability, showing what is in your stock is inside your practice is a very positive thing as well. So these are things that you have to consider. Your patients want to do transactions with you online, want to pre-order their contact lenses. Well, why not allow them to do it online? If somebody lost their glasses or broken their glasses, why not allow them to reorder the same prescription glasses again through your website? These are all things that have to come about, and they are coming about now. So if this is the future, and you should have to consider these things. As a company, we've also now expanded, thanks to OptiCo, into the Swedish market and to the Canadian market, and our first websites are about to go live in Swedish, obviously for Sweden, and in English for the Canadian marketplace. So as a company, we're growing. We're focused 100% on the optical sector, and that should give confidence to people in this room and people outside who are listening to this presentation that if you want to get a website that goes and grows with your business, you have to consider a company that's focused in this industry, not somebody just does websites here and there as an occasion, because what we found is lots of those people don't support the people as they continue with business. So traditional marketing, digital marketing. Well, what's the differences? Traditional marketing, all of you have done it to attract new patients into your practice. You've sent flyers out, you've put newspaper adverts out, you've probably in the past paid for the yellow pages. I hope not many people are paying for that anymore. Why? Because when you look at your statistics on Google, people are coming to your website. Many of them come through Yale.com. Yeah? So traditional marketing versus digital marketing. What's the benefits of digital marketing? Well, first of all, it levels the playing field. Paul Clare earlier mentioned that Specsavers spends a large amount of money on marketing. So they spend money on TV advertising. Can you do that? Of course not. Type to Google, for example, Opticians, Croydon. Croydon's near Gatwick. You type in Opticians Croydon. At the top, what you're going to find is usually the main companies are there. Specsavers, Boots, Vision Express. But guess what? Anyone with a practice in Croydon would also be on the same list right next to them. Does it work? Well, of course it works. Why would Specsavers be doing it if it didn't work? It does work. And actually, it's more proof that it works because you actually measure how well it works. So if you're a practice and you're looking at getting on the first page of Google in a high position, it levels the playing field because you can go there. It might only be for a short amount of time, it depends on your budget, how long you're there, you can be there exactly next to them. It reduces your cost, digital marketing. Why? Because ultimately, you can measure digital marketing. It's not something that you can say, let's try, okay, let's look at a radio campaign, for example. Radio stations say, do it 7 times before it works. So what are they telling you? They're telling you the first 6 times don't work. Yeah, literally. So with this, you can measure the results instantly. And if something's not working, and if you tweak it and it's still not working, you can deactivate it. You can apply a small budget to a specific campaign. It's very measurable and it's very, very targeted. It's actually laser targeted. It's very simple to measure. For those of you with websites in this room, if you add something known as Google Analytics into the back of your website, into your developers, what we can do, they add a code, you know who came to your website, how long they spent on your website, which pages they viewed, which page they left the website from, which pages were the favorites for them. You can see absolutely everything. So if something's not working, I'll give you an example. If you see on your website that not many people are booking an appointment, well, why could that be? It could be that to book an appointment, you have to go all the way down to the bottom of the page, and in one place on your website, you've got to book an appointment there. So what could you do as a company that wants to make changes? Well, you could put book appointment at the top, you could put book appointment at the side, and you could put book appointment in some parts of the text. What you'll find is, as a result of these changes, that you're getting a lot more book appointments. So it's very simple to measure what you're doing with digital marketing and what bring results out. Because if you can measure it, you can enhance it, and you get real-time results. What do I mean by that? I talked about an example yesterday, or just now, where you can put down, go to Google, set up a campaign, and you can be on the first page. That takes all of about 15 minutes, and you will be there straight away. It's not like a campaign in a traditional way. Let's say you do a direct mail shot. You have to get a designer, you have to proofread it, you have to send it over to print, then you get it, then you have to envelope it and send it all out. That takes time and effort. With the internet, many things you do, social media, if you do a post or you do a paid advert, it's there instantly. Email marketing, you can send out an email to your list there and then. These things are real instant and measurable. Refinement of your strategy, what does this mean? Because you can measure it and you can see how it's performing, you should be doing A/B testing. By A/B testing, tweaking things, trying things differently, and what you'll find is one of those things will be doing better than the other. Also, when doing campaigns, if something's not working, why wait? Just turn it off. Try something different. And if you keep doing this, over time, you're optimizing your campaigns so that the results become better. So in your 3rd, 4th, 5th month of doing digital marketing, what typically happens is the amount of money you spend goes up. Why? Because the results it brings is better and the cost of conversion is a lot lower. It's in your interest to refine your strategy. Brand development. Good example. How many of you have visited a website? Let's say Glasses Direct or something, and then what you do is, as you're browsing other websites, nothing to do with Glasses Direct, you start seeing little adverts appear of things that you visited earlier. You can try it. If you go to Glasses Direct website today, or any other, or some other companies, what you'll notice is, without realizing, once you left that site, their adverts start appearing everywhere else as well. So if you're on the Daily Mail website, you start seeing their adverts. Imagine as an optical practice. Somebody goes to your website, they don't do nothing at that point of time, but as they start browsing such websites like the Daily Mail, various newspaper sites, all sorts of websites, what happens is you start seeing adverts from your local optician. You're thinking, well, how did they do that? And actually, even better is, you don't pay for the advert to be displayed. You only pay for it when someone clicks on it. So it's really powerful stuff. We, for example, with OptiCommerce, we do adverts on pay-per-click, and when people go to certain websites, like, for example, Optometry Today, or the Optician magazine, some of the adverts that are displayed will have OptiCommerce there. Today, actually, I saw our own adverts on the Daily Mail website. Very, very good for branding. It's far better exposure. Far better and far more refined in terms of you can laser target who you want to do. If you set up a campaign on Google, for example, you can decide the radius of the campaign from your practice, what time of day it's shown, and you can even, if you want to, you can even select the type of people you want to show your adverts to. Same with LinkedIn, same with Facebook. You can target certain demographics, certain points of the market there who you want to find, tune, expose yourself to. Viral exposure. How many of you received emails where you think it's nice or interesting and forward it on to your friends? You can do that online. You can't do that. You're not going to keep a newspaper clipping, put it in your pocket and hand it over to your friends when you see them. But online you can do this, and Facebook's been a real good advocate for this. We've got something on our websites which is a virtual try-on. And what that means is somebody can go to your website, try on the frame, place it on their face, and they think, oh, how's that look? Actually, let me ask my friends. Click on a button, and then that gets virally shared to the people they want to share it with, and they get a recommendation. But indirectly, they're also promoting your practice. So these are kind of tips you have to harness. It's not intrusive. When you receive an email, it's not intrusive. You can decide to look at it later. So it's very, very powerful. But also, the engagement from digital marketing is very good. How many of you have received an email, clicked on something, and done an action? How many of you have gone to a website? And imagine, go to a website, and you can book an appointment directly into the diary. How's that for engagement? Compare that to a newspaper advert. Compare that to a direct mail flyer. You get a flyer, it's Saturday evening. You're hoping that the person then picks it up again on Monday and calls again. But the website, it can be instantaneous, so the level of engagement is very straight and direct. Here in the United Kingdom, or what people do in various types of marketing, and you'll see that digital marketing represents over 50% of all advertising spend in the UK is done in the digital arena. Why? It works. Proof in the pudding is look at Google. Over the last 10, 15 years, how have they grown? They control everything is done through Google. Yeah? So 50% of marketing online, or sorry, in the whole is spent on the digital. Here's a question for you. How do you think this is in the optical community? Between all the independent opticians in the UK, where do you think they spend the majority of their money? In the digital arena or in the non-digital arena? Well, recently we sent a survey out, and we found that the majority of practices, and we're going to make this study available to everybody who's in and probably everybody at Sight Care too. We're going to send out the survey results. We found that the majority of practices spend between 1 to 3% of their budget, of their turnover on marketing. Of that 1 to 3%, approximately less than 10% is the most popular that's spent online. So first of all, they're spending 3%, not 8% like Paul has suggested in his earlier presentation. And out of that 3%, less than 10% of it is going in the digital arena. My question to myself was, why do you think that is, Paul? It's better, it's more measurable, you can instant results, you better brand develop, all the things I mentioned in my earlier slide. Why do you think it is that only 10% or less is spent in the digital arena? It can only mean that you're not sure how to do it. It's new to you, you're not quite sure how. Well, that's where you need expert advice and help, because this is where we can help you. This is the best form of marketing. Statistics show that. It used to be in the old days that ITV was number one. Everyone wanted to see ITV advertising. Now it's not the case. Now it's all about measurement, tracking, and refinement, and making sure you make more from your best, from the pounds you spend. So that's interesting. Yeah. In terms of digital marketing, there's various things you can do. You can do search engine optimization, which is getting up on Google organically. Organically means on the free listing. But how do you do that? Well, have you noticed some websites have lots of content and frequently change their content and add things like blogs and information in their website? Why do you think that is? They've got nothing better to do? It's because, ladies and gentlemen, if you change your website content on a regular basis, you put relevant content into your website people are searching for, Google likes you and it keeps indexing your website on a more frequent basis. If you do that, your website will automatically start going higher on Google. Google reviews. How many practices here send out information like, thank you for visiting us, here's an email. Yeah, we'll talk about engagement. You send out an email, say thank you for visiting us, hopefully you had a great experience. Would you mind clicking on this link in the email and leaving us a Google review? Obviously that link should lead to your Google page. How many people do that? Not many from what I've seen. Google reviews is a way of enhancing your profile. Also, many of you probably are consumers on the website yourself. Do you ever read reviews of products? Do you ever read reviews of hotels that you're about to visit? Exactly the same with opticians. So use the power out there, because people that typically come to you, from what I understand, are very happy with the service they get, but we're not advertising that. So utilize that. Paid marketing search. Google. Some people say, well, at the top of Google, I never click on the top part. I always click on the middle section. I never click at the top. Most people here, do they click on the top or the middle or somewhere else? Typically, I've heard, it's not at the top. I'm going to show you a slide in a moment of real statistics from opticians where the results are going to be quite amazing, and you're going to see what you're missing out on potentially if you're not there. Obviously, display advertising, we talked about the banners that you can advertise on other people's websites, online PR, releasing blogs and things like that, email marketing, which I think is a must. Why? You have this big database of customers, but how often do you communicate them? Do you call them? It's hard to call them all. It's hard to meet them all. It's hard to send them all a letter. Actually, it's very expensive to send them all a letter. Email marketing, you should do it at least once a month or once every 2 months at the very least. Why? Let people know what's going on, because that way you're constantly in their eye. These are things you must do. Social media, paid advertising, Facebook offer it. People are doing it and it works. If you're not sure how to do it, talk to us at the end of the presentation. We can give you some advice. 5 reasons you should consider pay-per-click marketing. Now, I've mentioned the services you can do. There's probably an endless list of other things you can do, but I'm going to specifically focus on pay-per-click marketing. Pay-per-click marketing is when you pay Google directly for people who click on your advert and you only pay for that click. That's the best part of it. If you're on the top of Google, when someone searches Opticians Croydon, Opticians near Gatwick Airport, Opticians Oxford Street, whatever it might be, you only pay when somebody actually clicks on your advert. The position you get on the top of the page typically depends upon a number of factors, but one of them is how much you're willing to bid for that click. But the good thing is, you only pay for it when actually a real customer who types in the words that you want to be found for clicks on your advert. So that you only pay for success, basically. You can control the budget. If you have a budget of £5, £10, £15 a day, you can live with that, and you can actually have it that you don't go over that. That means you're not going to spend out of control. So you can limit your budget. You can reach the target audience you want to reach. So if you sell, for example, Limburg glasses, and you want to be found for Limburg glasses, if someone types in Limburg glasses in the geography close to your practice, and you want to be seen for that, you can be seen for that. But the interesting thing is, and the best part is, you only get seen for it when they're actually interested in it. It's not like a newspaper where you're hoping they open up a page and they gain interest in the advert. That's why it's so successful. That's why it's so powerful, because the engagement is exactly at the moment of time that they're interested in it. It can be for brand terms, it can be for clinical terms. Somebody who has red eyes, they go to something in like red eyes. Imagine an advert appears and it says, dry eyes, no problem, contact us today and we'll fix it, or whatever it might be. That kind of thing will be enticing for me. Unlike organic search, which is a bit on Google that you climb naturally, pay-per-click, the results are instant. The moment you finish your campaign, you're there at that very moment in time. Obviously, with the data you receive back, you see what people are searching for on the internet. You can actually change what you do in the practice. You can target your market accordingly. We have a practice, and when he thinks about new brands and things he wants to put into his website, or sorry, into his practice, he doesn't actually think about he doesn't think of it in a different, he thinks of it in a completely different way now. He actually goes to Google and he does keyword research, what people are looking for in his area. And based on that, he selects the right brands for his practice. So he doesn't take a hunch or a guess. He actually looks at real statistics and then chooses the appropriate brands that he wants to practice. Here's an example of a Google page. Now, all of you, I would assume, are on Google if you have a website. If you had a choice, and when someone made a search on Google, would you prefer that for that one specific search that you have 1 listing on the page, or you have 3 listings on the page? 3, obviously, because if you've got 3, that's 2 less that your competitors can have. That's also more likely that you're going to get clicked on. So how do you do that? Well, one is you do a pay-per-click advert at the top part of Google. The next one is that you put yourself in the map listings, in the Google reviews, so that you appear in the map listings as well. And then the third thing is you do organic listings. Now imagine, for your practice, for your business, that every time you search something that was relevant to your business, it could be brand terms, it could be clinical terms, it could be contact lens fittings, eye examinations, whatever it might be, that every time someone searched it, within a 3-mile radius, that you have 3 listings on that page. It would transform your business. You would get so much more business, so much more inquiries, that you would be like shocked, I could tell you. You'd be so amazed. Yeah? I mentioned earlier about being at the top of Google, and some people have said to me in the past, I'm not sure how many of you believe this, but some people have said, well, I never clicked there. Well, look at these stats. Here we've got 3 practices that we've been working with over the last 4 months, and we've written at the top the percentage of the traffic that comes to their website that comes from paid search. If they weren't doing paid search, practices would be losing between 30 to 50% of the traffic that comes to their website. So if they're getting 400 or 500 visitors coming to their website right now, if they weren't doing it, they'd probably lose 200. It's that significant. But here's an interesting thing. The organic traffic that comes to your website, if your website content is not that strong, the majority of that traffic is for people looking for you. So they're looking for blogs opticians, they're finding you. Looking for you in any case, they're going to come to you. With paid marketing, you can have it that the majority of traffic are people not looking for you, but they're looking for the services and brands that you get is actually new business. So even though it's percentage-wise, it might be the same, it's actually much more valuable to you because it means so much more. How do we know? Well, what do we do? There's no point in the traffic. You've got to know what you get from it. Well, here at OptiCommerce, when we build websites, We like to have goal conversions in place. And by goal conversions, I mean we measure two things primarily. We can't have it that somebody does a Google search, sees a website, sees a practice and says, you know, great, I'm going to go to that practice, nothing else. We can't measure that. We know it happens. We know it happens a lot. However, that's one thing we measure because we track that. What we have to do is we have to rely on the practice to ask their patients, how did you hear about us? Some patients will remember, some may not. However, what we can measure on a website is when somebody goes to a paid advert and clicks on it and then picks up the phone and phones a practice because they're interested in the service, we can track that because the telephone number changes. It's called call tracking. We change the telephone number, we record the call conversation, and we share that information with you. Also, what we can track is that if somebody goes to a website, sees something of interest, then fills in a form, and that form, once they fill it in, they thank you, saying, thank you for filling in this form. One of our staff members will contact you back. We can track that. So for those practices I just showed you, the results are that in 4 months, we gained 111 inquiries for practice A, 111 inquiries of new services or brands that they do. For the suburb optician, 153 inquiries in 4 months, people either filling in forms or filling in or calling the practice. And 60 for Essential London Opticians we recently started working with. So the results are clear and the evidence is clear. Even further, if you can measure those things and you can actually translate them into sales, it takes it one stage further. Here I'm going to show you a quick example of how we do it with one specific client. And we do this actually with a number of clients throughout the UK and why our system is actually working very well. Let's say you go to a Google page and you type in, and I'm using for a number of customers, you could do it with Silhouette, you could do it with Oliver Peoples, you could do it with Maui Jim, you could do it with any brand. Likewise, you can do it also with any clinical service. What happens is they search that term and at the top of the page, an advert is shown, Google. You don't pay for it, but if somebody clicks on that advert, you will pay for it. But guess what? We have to make them click on that advert because if we don't, what's the point of doing the advert? So what do we do in the advert? We put copy in the advert which is engaging. We talk about £50 off a voucher, approved list. We talk positive vibes about that practice. If you click on it then, we don't send them to the homepage of the website. Where do we send them? Why do we not send them to the homepage of the website? Because on the homepage of your website, you've got many other messages. You've got your information about your opening hours, you've got information about your school vision, you've got information about your OCT, but I'm interested in Limburg. How many times have you done a Google search where you clicked on something and the information that you're looking for, you actually don't find? What do? Do you go to the search bar and search the website, or do you click out and go to the next website on the list? Typically, you're going to click out and go to the next page on the list. So what we do is we send you to something known as a landing page. A landing page is being engineered with a goal conversion in mind. What is a goal conversion? To either pick up the phone or to fill in a form. Because ultimately what you want is new, fresh leads in your business that you can then communicate with and hopefully get to your practice. So on our landing page, it's very straightforward. It's got a nice picture. It's got a strong call to action, get your £50 voucher, and it's got your name, email, and telephone number. If you complete that, you then receive an automatic email saying, thank you for registering for our Limburg offer, and click here to download your voucher. Now, from a marketing perspective, me, as a marketing company, our job has been done. We delivered somebody to you who's interested in buying Limburg, who's within a close vicinity of your practice, and who's put their hand up by saying, I want £50 off. In this position, you have choices. You can assume that the person will now probably come into your practice one day. Or you can engage with them because you have their phone number, you have their email. You can contact them and say, hi, thank you for contacting us and requesting a voucher for Limburg. We have a fabulous range of selection of Limburg frames here. Which one are you specifically interested in? Get a little information, build a rapport with that customer, and then invite that customer in. Now, I know from people that we work with, the ones that phone the practice or phone the customers get a lot better engagement and get a lot of better response. There was just one simple example of how we do things differently. So those of you who have a website now, think about what's the purpose of this website? How has it been engineered? Is this delivering me, is this getting me 100 conversions every 4 months? Because for me, whatever marketing you do, whether it be traditional marketing, whether it be digital marketing, ultimately that marketing has a goal in mind. That could be to pick up the phone and phone your practice. That could be that that person then visits your practice, or it could be that they visit your website. Now, you've done it yourself. You've looked for information. You looked for information about products and services. What's the easiest thing to do? Pick up the phone, visit the business, or go to the website? It's to go to the website. because the website's there and then you can get more information before you do something. Now, if it is your website, have a look at your website. Is your website reflecting your proper image for your business? Is it better than your competitor's website? Is it the best it can be? Because it's a foundation. But then if you get it right, the thing to do about that is all do the other bits of marketing, because they will drive people into that. Now, I've written all these things here. I'm not saying just do digital marketing for one moment. Do the other things as well. OptiCommerce, we do direct mail. We do exhibitions. We do roadshows like we're here today. We do pay-per-click marketing. We do email marketing. So we do a whole spectrum of things, because we know if we don't, the number of sales we will get will be lower. Likewise, if you're looking for more patients, there's so many more things you could be doing that will help you get there. If you're not sure about these things or not sure how they work for you, contact OptiCommerce and we can help you, because this is what we specialize in. The pay-per-click campaign I showed you there with the landing pages, that's not so simple. That's not something any average agency can do. We only know that works because over 2 years, we've been working with a number of opticians and we know what works and what doesn't work. So we're in an advantageous position to offer advice to customers like yourselves. What can OptiCommerce help me with? We can help you with your We can help you improve your website. We can help you get results from your website. We can add extra features into your website that will improve the performance and ultimately give you more business. We have a free report, by the way, for those of you who've got websites in this room and who are booked on in advance. We've printed off a free report to give you some ideas of how you can make improvements, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are. So please collect that at the end. Members of my team outside. We can also help you with the digital marketing. It's no point building a really, really good website and not telling people about it. Simple things like putting an email signature with your name at. I've seen so many email addresses at AOL, at Yahoo, at Gmail. Why shouldn't it be at your practice name? That's just a simple thing. In your signature, write down your website address. Yeah? Simple things. Put your Facebook icons and your Twitter. I'm talking about Facebook and Twitter. How many people have got Facebook here not updated it in the last 2 months? Don't have these things and not update them. Please do so. Otherwise, it's going to damage you more than anything else. Think about pay-per-click. It works. If you're not sure about it, ask us. These are all things that we can help you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put my details there. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, feel free to ask me at the end of the presentation. And also, at the end, you're more than welcome to come look at your report and ask us further questions. Thank you very much.